good morning, good morning. How's it going, everybody? Welcome, welcome. February 6, 2026. Wow, a lot of things going on. Long signal, a winning long signal that I gave out to members yesterday. Wasn't so lucky personally. Price fell within one little pip of triggering me in and it took off, but I gave the signal to members regardless. And members who have been studying with us and know what to look for, because this is what we teach at the school, is how to locate these buying opportunities. I gave the warning. Price was coming into a 4-hour demand zone, and I said, you guys know exactly what to look for, and exactly textbook what we teach played out to perfection. Okay. So we're going to go through that today. We're also going to take a look at the market headlines because there's a lot going on right now. Bitcoin's bouncing. Everybody's getting excited. We'll tell you whether or not you should be excited about that. Dow Jones looking pretty good. We got some Amazon, Google that we're going to go through as well. And we got some of the trending tickers that we're going to look at as well. We can also take a little dip into silver and maybe the euro US dollar. If you guys want to take a look at that, we can look at that as well. Leave some of your recommendations here in the chat and I will take a look at those charts for you if you want me to. It's Friday. Let's do something a little bit more relaxed, and after we do these headlines we can spend a little bit of time looking at some of the charts you want to look for. So just leave them in the comments here on YouTube. All right. Very good, very good. So let's get to it. Let's start by looking at the headlines and seeing what's going on. For sure, Dow stock leads. Okay, so we were talking about this one with members. Dow Jones looking solid, very solid. Look at that rally. Where is it rallying from? Not just anywhere randomly. Institutional demand. Okay, demand was contacted once, twice, came down one more time, and now we're seeing the big push to the upside. So all this time when the other markets were breaking through their zones, like the S&P 500, remember we had one up here, breaking through. This one, Dow Jones held that zone, but we also have another major zone here that I pointed out to you. And we once contacted it here. We came, emotionally traded through it, wicked through the zone, but it opened inside the zone, reclaiming the zone, and now we're seeing a big push to the upside. The good news is that up here, when this demand was removed, there was no supply, so there's nothing to stop price from heading higher. Okay. Then we look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is a different beast. NASDAQ is weak. And nobody should be surprised, because over the last several weeks, when we were looking at some of the tech sector stocks, what were we seeing? We were seeing them hitting higher time frame targets that we had mapped out for you guys. And I said, higher time frame targets hitting, that spells profit taking from the institutions. So that means it's going to likely be heading lower. And so NASDAQ is a good reflection of that, because we have this zone that's just been removed, and now we have institutional supply that has just been created here. That's a big zone. If price goes higher, it has to make its way through that area, okay? And that's not going to be any easy task from what I'm seeing here. So that's the situation with the indexes, okay? Let's go back to the headlines. Wall Street is weighing after the AI fears behind this week's sell-off were exaggerated. Bitcoin slide is taking down a strategy with it. Yeah, for sure. Of course it is, because they're so heavily invested in it. Of course it would take down the stock. Now, let's take a look at Bitcoin and see what's going on. So we were pointing this out to you yesterday. Okay, if you were following our session yesterday, you would have known. And if you're not following us and you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that when we do these live sessions, you're informed. Because if you were trading Bitcoin, you would have loved to know when the major weakness came into play. You would have loved to know that we were expecting a reversal from here. Why? because of institutional demand coming into play. All right. So now we have this situation where we have demand down here, we have supply up here. This is going to rule price over the next few weeks, is this dynamic, because now we have a range. Okay. Demand gets taken out, big drop. Supply gets taken out, big rally. Okay. Likely. I'm telling you the likelihoods. Okay. I'm not going to tell you this is exactly how it's going to play out. It's going to move from here to here really quickly. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that based on the supply and demand dynamics, those that are actually controlling Bitcoin price, this is their buying zones and their selling zones. And if they remove a selling zone, it's likely they'll take price higher. If they remove a buying zone, it's likely that they'll take price lower. Okay. So this is the dynamic playing out with this. So, of course, MSTR is going to be affected. In fact, I'll point out to you that right now they dipped right down to the very low point of that institutional demand zone that we have drawn out. Funny how it stops right before it breaks the zone. So the zone is still holding. Still holding. Very, very, very close. Okay. But I wouldn't be going long this stock because of this predicament that it's in. And what we would be waiting for is some kind of a signal on the chart. I see one actually right now. Yeah, I bet you it's on the daily time frame. Let me find it for you. You're going to like this. Watch this. If you guys are interested in learning how to trade supply and demand, watch what I'm about to show you right there. Right there. So that was that area there. Yeah. We don't have anything here unless I can find something here. Doesn't look too good. I would say, yeah, this area here looks pretty good. I'd have to validate that. And there's a whole process that I'd have to go through to validate this as a demand zone, but it looks like it very well is here. So that was taken out here. And we go up. Yeah, this is all a mess. This is just all a mess. Wow. I wouldn't touch this one, this stock, unless this area got taken out here. Okay. This was the last significant area of major selling that came in from the institutions before dropping price to where it's at. It's $200. That area would have to be taken out. So to be interested in any type of a long position, I'd have to see something like that coming in with major demand. Okay. And then I'd be interested in buying. But obviously, we'd have to see that support coming in on Bitcoin. And right now, yeah, we're getting some support, but this is still a range. Do we do these often, these lives? Yeah, we typically do them every day at random times in the morning. So if you don't catch it live, you can always catch the replay of it. Okay, but it's good to catch it live. I like to do it in the morning before the markets really start going. Friday, the markets tend to slow down, so I'm not in a rush to do it first thing in the morning. It's more of a let's review what happened for the week, and then we can prepare ourselves for the following week. But yeah, so we're seeing upside pressure, but this is ranging now. Okay, so upside pressure can be short-lived. Yeah, we could get a push to 87,000, but that's where major supply is sitting up here. Okay, it will be smacked down hard once it gets up there. Okay, so don't be super excited, in my opinion. Don't be super excited about this rally. Okay, because it's happening for a reason. Big buying is coming in here. All right, but that dynamic is ranging. Let's see. We got Amazon sinks. Okay, so do you guys remember what we've been talking about for a long time with regards to Amazon? I just made a post about this. Okay, because this is so important. Okay, we're going to start a class on Monday. Doing supply and demand, locating institutional buying and selling, How do we do that? What's the process of doing that? And in our classes, we also talk about how do we locate our upside targets for price. When price is reaching all-time highs, how do you find an upside target? How do you locate one? If there's no major institutional supply zones to use as a target, how would we locate targets? Well, it's based on institutional price action. We look at where the banks were buying and how high they were willing to push price from that buying. And then we just look at the latest major institutional buying zone that was created, that price retraced into, and we apply that same distance from that buying zone, and we get these magical areas where price just happens miraculously to see profit taking happening from. You see, we're told the market moves randomly, and I'm telling you that's not true. And I'm not just saying that, I'm saying it and I'm proving it to you, okay? Because it's not true. And locating these targets is extremely helpful, because if you're buying here on one of our buying zones that I gave to members right here, I told members this is a buying zone here. This is a buying zone where the banks are buying. So when price came down here, there was hardly any drawdown. Target here, look at that. You just basically bought and took profits just like the banks did. You bought exactly where they bought, and you took profits exactly where you took profits, where they took profits. So, I mean, you can't get more accurate than that. So, I've been saying stay away from Amazon, regardless of earnings, if it's good earnings, whatever. Look, the last couple earnings, while price was getting up into that target region, look at the earnings. Look, positive earnings, positive earnings. Yeah, positive earnings right as the upside target was being reached. Okay? Put that into perspective, because this is something that we notice about the markets all the time. These targets where we expect the banks to take profits on their positions, right as they're coming in there, earnings are usually impeccable. Okay? Analysts say this, they came up with this. Analysts said that, they came up with that. It's always. I see it all the time. And the reason is when the banks need to offload their positions, they need people to come in and buy it. So this is why you see this all the time. Okay? This is why you see this all the time. Okay, so that's Amazon. I told you to stay the hell away. Hopefully you listened to me, and now you see why. Okay, so when it drops 8%, you're not surprised by that. Will there be buying opportunities? Sure, there'll be buying opportunities again. Let them take their profits. Let them consolidate price. Let them come in with buying. We locate the buying zones. They retrace into the buying zones. We buy. Our portfolio goes up alongside with them. Okay? Just how it works. Novo's stratospheric rise turns into 460 billion wipeout. NVO was looking at this one. It's some pretty bad news, right? Pretty bad news, causing a drop in price. Yeah. Well, I'll also tell you that if you look at the 12-month chart, this is a major buying zone here. Major buying zone. So question I've been asking my students is, how the hell are they going to get priced down to that buying zone? Because if there's an area where they're going to be buying, it would be that buying zone. But how are they going to get priced down there? There's got to be something that's going to cause it to get down there. And usually, not always, but usually when price is dropping into these big institutional buying zones, there's usually some bad news, bad earnings, bad headlines. Okay, you see it a lot. And then it's bad, bad, bad as price is entering into these buying zones. And then everybody's like selling, selling, selling. I don't want to hold this stock. And the banks are buying, 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 buying. And not just the banks, but the big players. Okay, if you go to Hedge Follow and you type in NVO to look for the stock, you can see, because when price enters into these big, higher time frame demand zones, they don't just buy within a couple weeks. It takes months for them to accumulate a position. And by that time, you're going to get the data released on this website of who's the big holders. Who's been buying, who's been profit taking, okay? Right now, you can see some of them have been profit taking. Yeah, we got this drop. This was up until September, okay? This is data up until September 30th, okay? So if you look at NVO and you look at September, it's back here. Up here at the highs. Okay? So yeah, these guys know what they're doing. And see, I pay attention to who are these names? Who are these names that are getting out at the highs? I pay attention to that. I pay attention to that. The reason why I pay attention to that is because I start recognizing patterns with these big players. A lot of them have this uncanny skill of knowing when to take profits on positions. And so I see the supply and demand, the dynamics of how price plays out, and I look at where these buying areas are, and this is what I'm watching for. Okay, I'm looking to see who understands where these good opportunities to take profits are, and these are some of the names I see all the time. Okay. Look at these guys taking profits on this at the highs. And then when it comes down into demand, I'll be paying attention to see where the buying opportunities are. Are you guys getting some issues with the stream? It's been running quite well lately. Don't know why it would be causing an issue. I don't know if it's weather related. Shouldn't be. Let me see if I could tweak a setting here to see if it makes any difference. Give me 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're done. Tell me if that improves it. Let's see if that improves the signal. Anything better? Well, let's just give it some time. Okay. NVO. All right. So where were we? NVO. I'm going to let it drop and see what happens. All right. Good idea. What else do I want to look at? Okay. Microsoft and Google. Yes. These are big ones. MSFT. Microsoft. Dropping too. Major drop. And again, it's the same thing. If you take a look at the monthly time frame, this is what I was looking at here. Higher time frame target. We put this target a while ago, okay, when price was about here. Okay, that's when I put that upside target. Okay, look how accurate. Profit taking and big drop. Remember I told you there was no institutional buying here? So this was not just a small little profit taking, but it could be very big because there's nothing to stop price from dropping. Well, now you see what's going on with Microsoft. Okay, big drop. I wouldn't buy this. And we also located the selling zone. One of the selling zones that the banks were going to use to drop price right here. Okay. And now it is dropping. And then we have Google. Google's been one that we have traded several times. But I also told you be careful because we're hitting our upside targets here. Okay, right here. I put this target on October 16, 2025. Okay, that's the target, October 16, 2025. So you see what's happening now, right? So be careful with Google because, you know, did they come out with the earnings? Yeah, good. What did I tell you? This was Wednesday. Yeah. After hours. Remember I told you they could come out with good earnings, but they'll use it to take profits on their long positions. Okay. And look what happened. Good earnings. And look at the drop. Reclaimed. They were passing through the daily demand zone. You see that? See how they reclaimed it? Okay. And then they pushed up. Okay. I still wouldn't trust this because this could easily drop from more profit taking. Okay. So I'd be staying away from this one. Did you have any charts you wanted me to take a look at? List them. Let me know. Okay. How's the stream, by the way? What income is needed to afford a $1.5 million house? Okay, gold. Let's take a gold. Let's take a look at gold and the long signal. Price came down into the 4-hour demand zone. I switched it to the 15-minute chart, looked for the demand to come in, which was here. Entry here, 3-to-1 target there, boom. Okay, zero drawdown or hardly any drawdown. Okay, if you would have taken this trade, hardly any drawdown, all upside, easy breezy, happened within a matter of minutes. Okay, that was the long signal that I gave to members yesterday. I was a little bit tight with my orders. I think back now, I'm like, why the hell was I so tight with my orders? Stupid. But my order was right on the top of the zone, like exactly on the top. So what ended up happening, right there, price came down within a pip of hitting my entry. If I would have been triggered, I would have had zero drawdown and all upside. That would have been incredible. That's okay. I wait for the next trades. It's all right. But there was that one. I was also curious about, we went through gold this morning on our level 3 session with members, so I don't want to go through all of that. If you're a member, you've seen all the information that we talked about. Really good stuff about sequences, about forces coming into play, and exactly what we need to be watching for going forward. So I'm not going to go through that again. But silver, was watching silver. What was it on the 1 hour? Let me try to remember. Oh yeah, we had a supply there. I was looking for a potential short off of that supply. This one was of lower quality, I mentioned, and as you could see, nothing came of it, and I'm not surprised by that. But this one here, I was looking for a potential short. I'm not interested in a potential short right now because I see more upside. Very capable of more upside here. In fact, I think it's possible we might be seeing an upside push to this area of supply here. Probably not the rest of today, but definitely could happen today. Some of it could happen today, and some of it could happen tomorrow. Okay. So a push to this supply, and then potentially a drop after that. Ooh. Okay, so we'll see how it goes when it gets up there. All right. I think over time, we got to be very careful right now because price is going to be sitting in a certain type of a range. We came down, surpassed the weekly demand. We reclaimed it. Okay. And so this demand being in play is going to put a lot of pressure on price to the upside. But then when we come into these supply areas, you know, we could see some downside pressure coming in. Okay. But we'll have to watch these ones closely and figure out the puzzle as it plays out. Euro US dollar. I don't know what's with this ICE data feed. It's just crazy. Really, really bad. Really bad. Up, up, up. You know, just nonsense. Yeah. So, you know, it's... we just have to ignore these big wicks. But let me see. Did that supply actually come into play? No. If you look at another chart, that supply didn't come into play. On the pound, it did. On the pound, it did. We had that supply zone come into play on the daily time frame. Actually, yeah, well, kind of not, kind of close, but not really. So price is just settling. I'm not trading this one right now. I'm waiting. I do think over time price is going to drop. That's the conclusion I've come to. I think the drop is going to be big, very big. And if you look at CFTC data, and we've been talking about this, you know that long positions are at maximum size. Really, really maxed out. Okay. So I speculated and I got into a short that didn't work out, and that was fine. And I laid out all the details of why I'm in short, why it's very risky, why I'm doing it anyways, what I would recommend, you know, to a friend if they said, you know, what would you tell me to wait for if, you know, not wanting to risk my money. And I've been very clear with members what you would need to wait for a very conservative entry short. And that hasn't happened yet. But I wanted to speculate. That's just me. I like to put risk in the markets and I can afford it. So I'm fine with doing that. This is how I learn. I don't learn by just thinking, you know, and pretending. Okay. I actually do. I do what I say. You know, I made a lot of investments in stocks over the last couple months that were extremely risky. I told my members I'm going to try something new here. I don't recommend that you do it, but I'm going to try something new because I want to learn from it. And I took a lot of positions all at the same time on many different stocks based on a new idea I'm thinking about. And with the weakness in the markets, a lot of them didn't work out. Some of them worked out beautifully. A lot of them didn't. But because I had so much exposure, you know, it drew down the account. But I'm learning, and I'm passing on these lessons to you guys. But what we're learning from these examples is just tremendous. The amount of knowledge that we gain. I mean, this is how I've gained all the knowledge that I have in trading, is by making these, trying out different things, making mistakes, and also making a lot of positive, good trades. You know, it goes both ways. But I'm not concerned. I'm in a little bit of a drawdown, but I have zero concern about that at all because I am in complete control of my trading. If you just look at the trades that I did that weren't risky, that were based on what we teach here at the school, and that were very conservative, I'm doing extremely well. Okay, I'm doing extremely well. It was those trades that I was like trying something new that really is drawing down the account. But I'm not concerned about that, like I said. But I am being more conservative now because I don't like the drawdown. I don't want the drawdown, and I'm going to claw myself right back to the top and then surpass it. There's no doubt about that. And so this is why I'm telling my students now the conservative things to do. I'm reinforcing to them what the conservative thing to do when it comes to these charts. Yesterday's gold trade was a conservative long trade, and that's why I gave the signal to members. And it worked out perfectly. Okay, when I'm patient and I'm conservative, the trades, I'd say over 80% of the trades work. Okay, over 80% of the trades work, and I'm very proud of that. Okay, folks, any charts you wanted me to look at? Gold, we did that. What else? PLTM. I think I remember coming across that one. Oh boy. I would maybe look for a confirmation trade off this area, $16 if it gets down to it. That'd probably be your best bet. Wait to get that. Looks like a pretty decent area. Wait for price to get down to $16. Wait, and then look for confirmation. So whatever signals you trade, if you're not a student, whatever signals you trade, whatever you think is a bullish signal, trade that. If you want to know what an actual bullish signal looks like what it looks like when the banks are actually buying from a monthly demand zone, what it looks like on the weekly time frame, what it looks like on the daily time frame, and what the signal is, you come join the school and I'll teach you exactly how to look for that signal. Okay. All right, it keeps cutting out. So the signal's been good. Streaming is kind of okay. Can I ask how your portfolio been performing the last 6 months? Like I said, it's been the last, I think, 2 months or so. I piled onto a bunch of trades, like a lot of positions on the stock market. Some did well, some didn't, and that drew down my account. But all the other trades that I've been sharing with members that are the conservative trades have been doing very well. Thank you for asking. Black Ocean 911, that's nice. Very good signals, especially BTC. Dixie is recovering. Very cool. Live, thanks. Well, good. Glad to have you. Keep joining us. All right. Okay, very good. That's it, huh? Lovely. All right, my friends. Well, then I will let you go. Come and join us in the Telegram channel. Link for the Telegram channel is in the description. And again, like I said, if you can like the channel, good. If you don't, that's fine. But if you do want these signals before it's too late, come and join us. Or just subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever we do a live session. Okay? Would love to have you. Love to see you around. You guys take care. Thank you for all your support and love. Really, really do appreciate it. And I'll let you go. Come and see me in the Telegram channel where we will continue the discussion. Okay? Good stuff. Take care. Arrivederci. So long, everybody. Love you all. You take care.